Hello, yes. Welcome to Jump Cuts, our fourth ever episode of Jump Cuts. Today is Sunday, October 20th, 2024. I'm your host and master of ceremony, Tanner Richard Kraft, and today I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Austin Zwiebelman.
Yes, sir. It's time for the latest and greatest in movie news and other such things. Austin, it's your first time on Jump Cuts. You excited to be here?
Second time on Jump Cuts.
Oh yeah, you were on the college version. You were on the version of the college show where you were on the episode we did right before I left to see Joker in 2019.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Wow. It all comes full circle in a way.
It's all about the jokester, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Fully do. Bad movie.
Oh my God.
But we're here to talk about a bunch of movies that may or may not be good. Starting off with one I think that's real funny. Austin, you said it yourself the other day when I showed you the news list. It seems like ever since Henry Cavill, people realize he plays Warhammer, they said cast him in nerd shit. Which is fitting because apparently Henry Cavill is set to star in Voltron for Amazon MGM. They're making a Voltron movie. Voltron being, that kind of like the precursor to the Power Rangers thing where it's like the Megazords, the robots combine, yada yada.
It's one of those shows where a team of people combine their robot parts to create a bigger robot, like Power Rangers.
And it's
stuff like that.
And, it could be a metaphor for sex. Usually is not. Because these are usually shows for children.
I like the idea of seeing like the full-blown MGM lion before like a serious Voltron show. We're really bordering on like that old like crack.com era. Like we made the Tetris movie, serious movie about Tetris.
And then they did make a Tetris movie, which was good, but...
Oh yeah, that's right! Oh yeah, biopic about the guy who made Tetris. You're right.
They made a movie called Tetris and it was awesome. I still wish the Tetris movie was like about the blocks. But,
It's, what was it? If I'm remembering that fan trailer right, it's like the blocks are falling from the sky and people have to parkour up the blocks. It's like a sci-fi dystopia where the blocks are a form of the apocalypse.
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't know what to think about a Voltron movie. Because it's probably going to be a little self-serious. And I don't know. Like, I feel like Voltron has to be at least I don't know. I don't know if it makes sense as a live action movie. I think it only ever made sense as an animated cartoon for children. I don't know about this because, well, nowadays all of our children's property have to be made for millennials. Children can't have anything anymore. But,
Well, who's directing it? Did they get the guy who did the Power Rangers movie recently to do the Voltron movie that's coming up?
Who is doing Jason
Let's
Secord's,
get that director's name up here.
Jason Secord's in the chat saying they should get Taika Waititi to direct it. Sure.
Oh, yeah, why not?
This doesn't matter anyway. It's directed by... This motherfucker's name is Rawson. What the fuck kind of name is Rawson? I'm raw, son. Rawson Marshall Thurber. What has this guy made?
Isn't that the guy who made Dodgeball?
You baby. This is the director of the greatest Netflix movie ever made, Red Notice. We're in for a treat. We're in for a treat.
I didn't know that was what he's up to. Oh, God.
No, that's the last movie he did. He also directed such hits such as Skyscraper, Central Intelligence, We're the Millers.
Okay, at least We're the Millers produced that meme where it's like, you guys are getting paid?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But Dodgeball, did he direct Dodgeball? Is my memory like faking me out there?
He wrote and directed Dodgeball.
Okay, so before he sold out, he had a soul. He made something I really liked a long time ago, and now he just kind of cashes checks with The Rock. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm kind of into that as a as a director for this. I guess makes me think that it's probably going to be a little silly. I like Red Sky in the chat saying he's made the world's dumbest names list. I hate to make fun of a man for his name, but what the fuck kind of name is Ross? This motherfucker has to be like a British nobility, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking up this guy's Wikipedia page.
He's the Archduke of something. He's from a town that has like dashes in its names. He's from like Stoke-on-Trentworth or something. This fucking guy. Rawson.
This motherfucker's from San Francisco.
But could Henry Cavill carry this? Because we watched him carry The Witcher, right? By the way, do you plan to watch The Witcher now that it's Liam Hemsworth?
I still haven't seen any episodes of that show. I don't watch TV. I can't emphasize this enough. I'm too busy watching shitty movies to watch TV. It's funny I say that. I was at my parents' house earlier. My dad was the only one there because my mom and sister are elsewhere, but I just stopped by to pick up some mail I had shipped there, and he was watching an episode of Fear the Walking Dead. It was actually kind of awesome. It was directed by Coleman Domingo, the Academy Award nominated actor. He's a cast member of that show. And you know what TV shows do. They'll let the cast members direct episodes. I don't know. Henry Cavill's a fine actor. I think because he kind of looked perfect as Superman and did a genuinely fine job as Superman, I think people are overrating him as an actor. The best work he's ever done was in the Mission Impossible movie, and maybe The Guy from U.N.C.L.E.
I wasn't as impressed by The Man from U.N.C.L.E. as I thought I would. That thing got rave reviews. I actually like the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare more than I like The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Is that this year? I haven't seen that one. Is that Guy Ritchie?
It is fun. Yeah, it's Guy Ritchie. It's fun. It's like Inglourious Bastards, but, you might want to wait till a kid's like 16 to show him Inglourious Bastards. You could show a 10-year-old The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It's a video game, but It's a fun video game.
Okay, I'm kind of into that. I might check it out when I can. I don't know. This is a big, we'll see. Henry Cavill's a fine actor. I don't know if there is an actor in the universe that could carry a Voltron movie, aside from, listen, if the news came out tomorrow that Tom Cruise was leading this thing, I'm locked in. Because Tom Cruise would probably find a way to make Voltron real.
Yeah, Tom Cruise has done everything except pilot Voltron. That would be... he would insist. He's like, I need to pilot Voltron for real. I'll put up the money. Please.
It'd be the most sponsored by the U.S. military movie of all time. And it would be directly responsible for the U.S. military inventing real Gundam. But we would get real Voltron, so maybe kind of worth the trade-off.
I like the idea of them just opening this big garage and they're like, what is this? Oh, it's the set from Pacific Rim 2014. We started building it. We just kind of stopped because why would we build it, Tom Cruise puts on the shades. This is just right. Fucking... Okay, what kind of character could Henry Cavill play in Voltron where you would be interested in the movie? Let's say you're watching the first trailer. What direction do you think they should take it?
He should be Voltron. I think the robots should combine to make a gigantic Henry Cavill.
Oh, please, no.
Naked, for the record. R-rated, giant dong that shoots missiles. That's where I'm at right now.
That does sound like I would feel like I've been punked. Is if all the celebrity names are coming up and it's a bunch of people I don't give a shit about, and then it's like Henry Cavill as the voice of Voltron. I'd be like, fuck you! Get out of here!
It'd be a good bit. The voice and body of Voltron again. I want Voltron to look like him.
They have a bunch of Andy Serkis style, behind the scenes featurettes of Henry Cavill doing Voltron mocap.
The Voltron movie either needs to be very serious, very genuine, or it needs to be the dumbest, silliest fucking thing ever made. There's no in between, right? That you got to go that direction. You got to go one of those two directions. You can't, because here's the thing. We're so irony poisoned now. You either need to go full irony, which almost wraps back around into being sincere, or you need to go full sincere.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, like, what would be the reference point for full serious and what would be the reference point for full goofy? And my mind went the wrong direction and was like, what if they made it like Saving Private Ryan? What if they made the Voltron movie like Saving Private Ryan?
Fucking Voltron gets shot down, saving the Earth from a missile. And he just, like, as he's laying down, one of the pilots crawls out, goes to some, like, random 19-year-old and goes, "Earn this!"
Yeah, now we've got a script. Actually, fun fact, do you have the name of the person who wrote the Voltron script? I remember it from an article.
The person of the name that wrote the Voltron script? I'm glad you asked. The name of the person that wrote the Voltron script is Rawson Marshall Thurber, and also Ellen Shanman.
Ellen Shanman. So I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to like look up her previous screenwriting credits because I was just like, who is this? I'm curious.
Fuck is this?
Right. It's all like, doesn't it like children's shows? Like shit I've never heard of in 1,000 years. I think she has written more books than she has movies. This seems like it is a personal friend of the director who made Dodgeball a true underdog story. Got roped in like, hey, you want to come over and write the Voltron movie for MGM? Like, it's very odd that she's kind of lassoed in on this.
She was also a voice actress in 2 episodes of the Pokemon anime.
Voltron. We're really not giving Japan what it's worth. We're really not paying our dues to the anime legends. Fucking Christ.
What the fuck is this movie? Already. All we have is like an actor and we have a production designer, apparently.
Wait, what if this was one of those dumb ideas that Pharrell Williams came up with? Like, he was just rattling them all off one day. He got a meeting with the executives, and he's like, what if we do a movie about me, but with Legos? And what if we do a Voltron movie with Superman? Like,
I still haven't seen that Lego Pharrell movie, but every time I see the trailer, I keep thinking I'm on crack. I'm hallucinating this. And then when I saw, like, the concept art showing that they were going to depict the George Floyd protests in the movie, I went, that's fake. That can't be real. And then the movie came out and it was real. That movie depicts the George Floyd, not the murder.
No.
The protests in Lego. PG, parental guidance.
And is it me, or is that movie getting a more limited release than normal?
They're treating it like it's like a real serious movie when it's, what if Pharrell was Lego?
What if Robin Williams was a monkey? I'm never gonna stop saying his name wrong.
Robbie Williams monkey movie. I respect that. That's somehow more stupid than the Lego thing, which wraps it back away into being fucking brilliant. I cannot wait for that goddamn Robbie Williams movie. Even though I found this out when the trailer dropped, fucking none of you assholes knew who Robbie Williams was. I did not realize he had like no traction in America.
He's one of those people like George Lamb, where it really depends on what part of the world you're from. Like, he's one of those musical artists from overseas where you go read his Wikipedia, like, page, and it's like, it starts off with 5 paragraphs about just how many awards they've won. I had not heard of Robbie Williams. I really thought when I read the hot headline that it was a Robin Williams movie where they made him a chimp. You know, to deal with his depression or something.
Listen. The only reason it's okay to make him a monkey is that he's playing himself. If they announced a Robin Williams movie where they made him a chimpanzee, I'd firebomb the studio responsible for that. I would firebomb the studio lot. God willing, nobody would be in there, but that would be unacceptable.
This is really gonna bore the shit out of the audience, but pay attention to the Better Man trailer the next time it comes on while you're in a theater. There is the heaviest grain plate over it, like fake camera grain, I have ever seen. There's something visually wrong with it. I had to see it at a really, like, the Dolby Cinema to make sure I was right, because I thought it was just like a way they exported the DCP at first. I was like, this looks like it's been digitally sharpened beyond, like, what a normal person would do. It looks weird. Pay attention to that the next time you're at the movies. If you see the trailer for Better Man, it's really odd. I don't know why it's like that.
Jason Secord in the chat saying, I've seen Robbie Williams sing I Want to Be Like You from the Jungle Book. That's cool. Great song. It's one of my favorite Disney songs. Oh, Ooby-Doo, I want to be just like you. But if we're thinking about... Or go ahead.
I feel like he could put some stank on it. Like, I feel like a Robbie Williams version.
Just like you.
Ooh.
God. But when I say I want to be just like you, that almost sounds like I want you. And if we're talking about the sentence, I want you, boy, Warner Brothers really wants Christopher Nolan back for his next movie, but unfortunately, he's going to be doing it with Universal again. Well, unfortunately for them. Fortunately for us, since Christopher Nolan makes one movie outside of Warner Brothers, and he immediately wins Best Picture. He's never fucking going back there. But we got our idea for the next Christopher Nolan movie. It will be distributed by Universal. It's going to star Matt Damon. It's coming out summer 2026. We're Nolan heads here.
How do you think the cast and crew of the shelved Batgirl and the Coyote versus Roadrunner movies felt when they read the news and find out that a Warner Brothers guy came in with a suitcase, gave Christopher Nolan a check for at least $10 million just as a gesture of goodwill? Like, they don't have enough money to finish Batgirl or Batwoman or whatever that was called, but they do have a 7-figure check to give to Christopher Nolan. Just like, hey, please, will you return my calls? Fucking Zaslav, dude.
Remember what I said about firebombing the studio lot earlier? I think that sentiment applies here.
You've been like this ever since we recorded the Fight Club episode.
Listen,
it's a mode you can't switch out of.
I'm really into anarchy now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually I've sent anthrax to the president of the United States. That's a joke. That is a joke. I do not mean that. I have never done that.
I can just picture Christopher Nolan and, like, his wife, Emma. She's just, like, kind of, like, holding him while he's in the, you know, bent over the bed. And he's just, like, keeps looking at, like, the fucking Warner Brothers logo, like, on a card in his hand with a $10 million check. And she's like, you're better than this. You're better than this. Remember what they did 4 years ago? Remember how they put Tenet out in only 1,000 theaters? Instead of 3,000 theaters? Come on, you have dignity.
Well, I mean,
don't go back to them.
That wasn't Warner Brothers' fault, to be fair. There might have only been 1,000 theaters open.
Yeah, but what did they do?
Here's from what I understand. Warner Brothers pushed Tenet to come out earlier. Nolan was willing to and borderline wanted to wait for things to die down a little more. Which is crazy, because if that movie comes out a year later, it probably clears 500 million worldwide easily, because it's worth keeping in mind that shit still cleared like 300 million, given the most extreme of circumstances. That movie still did really well.
You know what this means, right? You know what this means. When Spider-Man No Way Home came out and broke $1 billion, Christopher Nolan fucking white knuckles, dude. When he fucking saw that, dude, he punched a hole in the wall like his name was Tyler. He was so fucking mad seeing that just, like, only a little bit later, and Tenet would have done gangbusters, you know? And now it's Spider-Man.
If Tenet came out at the right time, that shit would have probably been, it would have hit $1 billion. I don't think a Nolan movie outside of Batman has done that, but it probably would have cleared 700 million, especially considering Oppenheimer almost hit $1 billion in its own right. That cleared 900 million, which is still fucking insane. I'm sorry, a partially black and white biopic about a 3-hour long about the guy that made the atomic bomb made over $900 million at the box office, partially because a Barbie movie came out at the same time.
What do you think? Because what do you think was the tipping point for a normal person where they're, like, so gung-ho for Christopher Nolan? Because I'd assume people would be that way about David Fincher because he made Fight Club, right? And he made The Social Network, but they're not. Like, when The Killer came out, most of my, like, people in my life who aren't movie people were just, like, didn't even notice. But when Oppenheimer came out, my sister called me and was like, Austin, when are you going to see Oppenheimer? What makes Nolan have this fan base?
He made a Batman movie. He made 3 Batman movies.
There we go.
That's honestly, if Fincher made a Spider-Man, well, his Spider-Man movie sounded like it was gonna be fucking insane.
What?
So at some point in the development of Sony's Spider-Man movie, there was the James Cameron version, and then there was the Sam Raimi version. And at some point in between those two versions, there was a David Fincher version in development. David Fincher's version, he wanted to make like an R-rated Spider-Man movie thing. I can't imagine it would have been good. Honestly, he wanted to focus on the night Gwen Stacy died. Which, sure, that's a great Spider-Man story. I don't think you can start there from a cinematic perspective. I don't think you start with, we're gonna kill the woman.
Yeah, that's a little bit indicative of how he kind of treats women in screenplays as things to motivate the protagonist instead of something more interesting. I'm just picturing the scene from Inception where like Peter's looking out a window and Gwen Stacy just leaps off a different window and he's like, "No, Gwen, god damn it!" Just the scene from Inception. But
we're talking about the scene from Inception, but the scene that played in my head was the scene from Men. You've seen Men? You know what I'm talking about? The most comical suicide of all time.
I was thinking of Peter giving birth to Peter, giving birth to Peter.
Yeah. Jason Secord in the chat saying a couple things. The one I wanted to focus on, though, was that Stan Lee hates Gwen Stacy's death. Yes, Stan Lee did not like that. That happened shortly after he stopped writing for Spider-Man, and they killed her immediately. However, it's an excellent story that ended the Silver Age of comics effectively. When it comes to comic books, there is before Gwen Stacy died, and there is after Gwen Stacy died. The death of Gwen Stacy, while you can argue it's fridging, I think is one of the most important issues of comics ever written. The second thing he says is that they should get David Fincher to do a Venom movie. Yes.
Yes.
I hope they make more Venom movies. Tom Hardy keeps saying, "I'm out after this." I don't believe him. I want more Venom. More Venom all the time. You excited for Venom 3, Austin?
I hate every trailer for Venom 3, but I gotta admit, the slot machine bit at the end of trailer 2 looks funny.
Okay, but what about Venom Horse? What about Venom Frog? What about Venom Fish?
I would not, could not, in a box. I don't give a shit. But fucking the Venom movies are like major disconnect between me and everybody else. I do not understand why those are so beloved.
Well, here's the funny thing. Even the Venom haters in my life are seeing Venom 3 and going, "Let's go."
I would not be prepared for that. Like a Venom movie that gets great critical reception. I would.
No, that's never happening. Ooh. No. Just your cool friends are going to like this one, I guess.
They just, as long as they don't, do the thing they did with the second movie where they're like, "Oh, this is a gay film. This is secretly gay."
To be fair, we did that. Sony didn't do that. We did that. Well, Sony's been pushing the rom-com angle since the first Venom movie, which is fun marketing. When they cut a rom-com trailer for the first Venom movie to promote the Blu-ray. That was a lot of fun.
One of the big reasons I hate Venom 2 is because they used Wild World by Cat Stevens as the kind of nostalgia trailer mix. That is not the song! Okay, I guess he does say Wild World in there. It's just the notes. Fucking, it feels wrong using Cat Stevens' Wild World as an epic action movie trailer mix. It's a song I like a lot, and I didn't know until the trailer came out. It's in my list of, they would never be dumb enough to do this. It's like when they used Seasons in the Sun for the John Wick trailer. It was just like, "Oh, you're pushing it. Wild World? That's over the edge. That's over the fucking line."
It's like using Champagne Supernova in a trailer. We'll get to that. Foreshadowing.
Coming soon.
I'm foreshadowing a later news story we're going to talk about.
Just you wait.
It gets worse. Everything gets worse. But you know what gets better?
What?
Hopefully The Princess Diaries 3. Anne Hathaway set to return. Austin, this one's in here for me. I can't imagine you have anything to say about the Princess Diaries movies.
In Princess Diaries Royal Engagement, they mattress surf down the stairs. I tried that. It hurt.
Cat in the Hat movie did that too.
They did it in Royal Engagement, didn't they?
They did it in both. I just remember the Cat in the Hat movie also did that.
My sister liked the Princess Diaries movies. Why do you have a fondness for them? That's surprising.
Well, Austin, I'm practically a woman. Have you noticed my taste? Don't read into that, fair. Audience. Don't read into that too much, audience.
No, it's true. Tanner likes the same movies that you would expect your average woman to be super into. Like when Little Women came out, Tanner was there opening night, just surrounded, by a bunch of people who didn't look like Tanner.
I was the only man in my theater when I saw Little Women. The biggest example of this is back when I was a big fan of BBC Sherlock. They aired the Christmas special in theaters, and I bought a ticket in a sold-out crowd to see an episode of Sherlock in theaters, and I was the only man there that wasn't... First off, I think I was the only man there, but if there was other men there, they were there with their girlfriends.
Yep. Oh my god, yeah. You could have caught a super hulock girl and be married to a librarian right now.
Instead,
it's a shame that you were there for the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. God. Instead, I'm gonna die alone because I'm banned from everything. Yeah, it's okay. Love's overrated, right, Austin? Say it. Yeah. Say it. Okay, good. I'm sending this to Sid, and we'll see what he says about that.
My marriage! Oh, man!
I also told him he loves Wicked City. That's an inside joke for Austin and I.
Anne Hathaway takes to Instagram and she does what, in my opinion, was kind of a shitty announcement video. She's just kind of is like, 1, and then it's a clip from Princess Diaries 1, and she's like 2, and then it's a clip from Princess Diaries 2. It's her and Judi Dench both saying like, shut up at various points in the thing. And then she goes 3, and it cuts to a picture of her with the director and the little, article head where it's like, Anne Hathaway announces Princess Diaries 3.
Yeah.
But the director
then at
is
the end of the
I have
video,
faith in.
And then the end of the video, he goes, 4! Let the bodies hit the floor! Let the bodies hit the floor!
The director of this movie is someone I really like their work. Have you,
Is it Gary Marshall? Because Gary Marshall directed the first one. And Jason Secord's in the chat saying people loved that. Love him. Adele Lim. Oh, I know this name. Hold on, don't tell me. Oh.
You got this.
Oh.
You got this.
Oh, the chick that directed Joyride? Hell yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And wrote Crazy Rich Asians.
Yep, and I think she did Raya the Last Dragon.
Yep.
I think
she also wrote 2 episodes of the Lethal Weapon TV show.
And she worked on One Tree Hill. It's
oh my God,
really
she did.
Like Joyride, dude. Joyride was very funny. I loved
Joyride. That was a blast. I saw that with my dad.
Sad. Oh, hell yeah. How did your dad like Joyride?
He liked it. There was a scene that's very graphic of a vagina that I was like, this is kind of funny to watch with my dad, but we're both adults. I'm not like one of those weirdos that are like, if I see a sex scene in a movie with my parents, I'm being personally assaulted. I'm not one of those weirdos.
A lot of the Gen Z like anti-sex discourse actually boils down to a lot of them still live with their parents, and so they'll like, if you're watching Euphoria and your parents come in, you're gonna just get mad at the art form instead of forming a more kind of level opinion. I remember, dude, the first time I watched Boogie Nights, my mom walked down to be like, hey boys, you want some snacks? Right when Julianne Moore looked at the camera and was like, this is an enormous cock. And I was like, Mom, no! Please! It sucked so bad, dude.
You had to go to temple immediately after that.
The little hat just kind of fell off the ceiling and landed straight on my head. And Kesmer music started playing. Fucking... Wait, what? Why are you so... What are your larger feelings about? Because you're a Princess Diaries fan.
I love the first Princess Diaries. I think it's great. The sequel is, well, Chris Pine is in it, and I'm fairly confident with Adele Lim behind the helm. That makes me think that there's something legit going on here. Because again, Joyride was a really fun movie. I can't. I imagine this will. Well, here's the thing. This then again ties back into our kids' movies aren't for kids anymore. They're for adults. Because like you can't make this not a kids movie, right? But then like the target audience isn't a child. It's losers like me. So I
wait a second. And they're also doing the Freaky Friday thing. They're making another Freaky Friday.
Same thing, which again, like, it's a sequel. It's not another remake. So again, even though that's going to have to be made for kids, it's going to be a kid's movie that your average child's not going to have. Because here's the thing. We don't make things for the kids anymore. We make things for their parents, for their kids to drag along to.
Oh my god, imagine a Princess Diaries remake where they're not just trying to signal to people our age, where they're like, yeah, Olivia Rodrigo finds out she's a princess and she marries Harry Styles. And the old lady is played by, who do Gen Alpha and Gen Z kids think slays?
Anne Hathaway. You could just, like, it could be a cute little wink and a nod. There's your thing for the adults, but it's still fundamentally a new thing for a new generation of kids. However, I'm probably going to like Princess Diaries 3. I'm probably going to think it's fun. And I'm probably going to get stared at when when I go to the ticket counter and go, 1 for the Princess Diaries 3, please.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever tell you? I can't remember what critic it was, but a critic once said that the worst day of his movie reviewing life as his career is the time he went to the theater on a Saturday afternoon as a white man in his mid-30s, late 30s, all by himself, walked up to the ticket counter and said, 1 for the Hannah Montana movie, please. And he says that the look the box office guy gave him was like the most disgusting, dirty look he's received in his life.
Yeah. I recently had that with the Garfield movie. I wasn't expecting that, but Sid and I went in, we're both like in our 30s, and then it was just families. Families with a surprising amount of kids per family. And the kids were running around, and sometimes they'd stop near us and just be like, what the fuck? And then go back to running around the theater. I was so out of place. Ugh. Hannah Montana movie's worse, though.
You saw Garfield in theaters?
Yeah, I saw the recent Garfield movie in 3D.
Was it any good?
I have AMC A-list, so I don't have to worry about movies being good.
So no, got it. I think Jason Sequin in chat says, I like to think the success of Barbie in the male community has set a precedent for seeing Princess Diaries 3. Maybe. I'm not worried about like its financial success or anything. It'll probably do fine. Or it'll be sent straight to streaming. I don't know.
I had a theory when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out that in order to save the box office, we need to transition from the 4-quadrant model to a more restricted, like, 2-quadrant model. I think that, like, Disney and a bunch of other big studios have been trying to make 4-quadrant pictures that appeal to young and old, men and women for a while now. And very few films actually have that magic. But then, we noticed last year, you make a movie that's just for, like, men of all ages. Top Gun Maverick, Gangbusters. You make a movie that's just for women of all ages. Barbie, Gangbusters. I think we should focus on just, like, try to hit 2 of the quadrants directly instead of hitting all 4 of them and making a mess. I think that's the solution to the problem.
Hear me out. We just keep releasing The Outrun until it becomes a massive box office hit. Austin, when are you going to see The Outrun?
You keep bringing this up around me. Is there a reason for that?
It's a funny bit.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'll go see it.
No.
Is it still out in 3D?
Yeah. It's actually in 40X. No, it's funny you bring up Barbie and Oppenheimer. We brought that up a couple of times. You heard about this new Barbie? This isn't in the news list, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. The new Barbie Oppenheimer thing that's kind of brewing right now.
Oh, like a double feature where you make the names into a portmanteau.
Yeah, well, we're still workshopping the name for this one. I've been calling it Wickalator. I don't know if that's really caught on with the public.
Wickalator?
Wicked and Gladiator 2, the pre-sales for both that are coming out the same day are very strong.
I had no idea two colossal movies like that were gonna share, and that's so similar to the demographics that were hit by Barbenheimer. That might actually work. We need to find a better name ASAP, because it's probably gonna be a thing. Wickalator.
Someone just said Wicked 2, which is kind of funny considering there's gonna be a Wicked 2 next year. Wicked later. Wicked good.
Wicked good.
Oh,
fuck.
we'll come up with one. Chat, your job for the rest of the stream is to come up with a better name for the Wicked Gladiator 2 double feature. That's your mission for today. That's your mission for today, eh? I don't know why I went like full like fucking Northern Plains there.
Oh yeah.
Well.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of you know, I can't come up with a segue. Ballerina. We talked about this on the last episode. Well, Tim and I did. And some news has come out that apparently the vast majority of Ballerina was reshot by John Wick director Chad Stahelski and completely reshaped the movie. Austin also found out right before recording, or right before the stream, that apparently the reason Wes Leisman wasn't on set for these reshoots is because he was in the hospital. I do not know how true that is, but I do think it's worth mentioning. I gotta be honest with you, Austin. If Chad Stahelski shot most of this movie in actuality, I am significantly more interested in it.
Yep. Yeah, he's a much better director than Len Wiseman. What is Len? Is it Les Wiseman?
He did a lot of the underworld movies.
Did he do anything besides the blue Kate Beckinsale vampire films? Has he made anything else? Oh, did he do one of those remakes of a better movie?
That's right. He did the Total Recall remake.
That had some decent camera work, but by and large, you can't compete with a Verhoeven.
Yeah, he did the Total Recall remake.
Never made a good movie.
Well, good movie? No. I would be remiss to not mention that he was the showrunner, or one of the showrunners for the 2019 Swamp Thing show, which was, I haven't actually seen all of it, but I was told that show was great.
Okay.
Also is the showrunner for the first 3 seasons of Lucifer, or one of the showrunners, a show that a lot of people like. So it seems like he's pretty good in the TV realm, but
what if it's like TV is this like chrysalis you go through and then you suddenly become a good director? What if that's what happened to Craig Mazin? What if Craig Mazin did suck ass until Chernobyl forged him in the crucible of having to make a lot of stuff really fast?
Well, my counter argument to that is that he made superhero movie, which rocks. Fuck you. And if you disagree, superhero movie is fun. It's like, because you look at it and you think it's another one of those fucking, what were those assholes called? Scary movie guys?
Friedberg and Seltzer.
You think it's a Friedberg and Seltzer joint. It's not. It's just marketed like one, but it has nothing to do with them.
Ballerina. What I heard about Ballerina was they shot a lot of the movie, and then Chad Stahelski stepped in like to look at it as a producer, and he got really worried because John Wick is like a franchise. It's kind of like the Broccolis with James Bond. He wants an amount of quality control applied to it, and he came in, and it was like the meme of Troy from Community with the pizza, and everything's on fire. And so he was just like, all right, buckle up, everybody. We're going to go refilm the movie. That was the story I heard maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. And so it was surprising. I think the articles from Screen Rant, they say that the reason Len Wiseman wasn't there was because he's in a hospital bed. But that could be a cover-up. Because it makes a lot of sense that Len Wiseman would make just a tragically bad John Wick movie. And then fucking Chad Stahelski would have to step in and just redo the fucking movie.
Yeah, I think it could be that. It could be a cover-up. It could be they're trying to save face for Les Wiseman. It could be a Zack Snyder thing where a horrible tragedy happens and they studio takes advantage of that to give the movie to someone else. The difference here being is that was from Zack Snyder to Joss Whedon, who once upon a time I might have confidently said I think Joss Whedon's a better director. I do not think I'd say that now. I'm pretty confident saying that Stahelski's a better director than Wiseman.
Joss Whedon was like a light bulb whose fuse finally exploded on the set of Age of Ultron at some point.
Probably around the time he went, Black Widow should think she's a monster because she's sterile.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I have hope for Ballerina. Because wasn't there also a TV show in the John Wick universe?
Yeah,
that largely stuffed ass.
I think stars Mel Gibson. It's like, first off, it's a 3-episode miniseries. Just make a fucking movie. At that point, just make a fucking movie. You motherfucker. I hate you. I have not seen it because, first off, I didn't think it looked very good. It's called The Continental, I think. I think it's about the hotel.
No, it's about the breakfast.
I'm sorry. Yeah, here we go. It's a TV miniseries starring Mel Gibson about the hotel. Right?
Right.
Austin, you know when I say just make a fucking movie? How long do you think this show is? Like, the episode run times added up. What do you think it adds up to?
90 minutes.
Yes.
That is such a funny way to cover up that you made a bad thing, is releasing it as like 3 episodes of television.
It was supposed to be a movie, man. Like, fuck you. It's 90 minutes, 3-episode miniseries. You're fucking lying to me.
Oh, speaking of that, you brought up something on our way out of work on Friday. Moana 2 is Atlantis 2, Milo's Return.
Yeah, I could. Here's the thing. I don't know when in development it went from being a show to a movie. It might have happened way earlier than it did for Atlantis 2, so maybe it's actually a movie. I don't know. I do think the quality of the animation is great, but not quite up to Disney's usual standard. So make of that what you will. However, the fact that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is still the voice when he was never attached to the TV show makes me think it happened early enough in production that animation really hadn't gotten started yet. But again, I don't know.
Tragic. Can't believe it used to be a TV show. Positively tragic.
Yeah. I just now found out the Continental was 90 minutes. When I went to look up the runtime, I was like, surely it's like 3+ hours, enough to justify being made into a show. And then I see that is like it literally is an hour 30 on the ball. Oh, wait, hold on. Would like to apologize.
Just like the premiere episode?
I would like to apologize. I would like to apologize to the creators of the Continental. IMDb lied to me. Each episode is an hour and a half.
Whoa. That is some
You could still turn that into a movie. You could still turn that into a movie. Fuck off.
What if you did it like The Strangers, chapters 1, 2, and 3? You just release them all in the same year.
Didn't everyone hate the first chapter of The Strangers? Why are they still going? Like, I thought everyone thought it sucked. So, but they get to release Strangers 2 and 3, but Kevin Costner can have his Western bullshit? It's not fair. It's not right.
To be fair, though, The Strangers chapter 1 costs like a needle and some thread to produce, whereas Horizon and American Saga cost more than like the GDP of certain small countries.
What are we talking about? Ballerina. Maybe it'll be good. But if the reason Chad Stahelski's is in charge is because Wiseman is in the hospital, I think that would be kind of tragic. Similar to how a tragedy happened on the set of... Is this in poor taste?
On the set of what?
Of Rust.
Oh!
Is that in poor taste? That might be in poor taste. I don't know if I should say that.
You know what's in poor taste? Hiring an armorer who's inexperienced just because she's the stepdaughter of a famous armorer. Because accidents might happen. And then you don't get to premiere your movie for 3 years, and it has to drop at a Polish film festival.
Which Rust is premiering next month at a Polish film festival, almost three years after the tragic, I can't believe that was 3 years ago, but the tragic death of DP Helen Hutchins. Alec Baldwin's not going to be there. The producers aren't going to be there. Apparently the screening and a Q&A after the fact is going to be dedicated to her memory. My question is, why finish it? Do you cut your losses?
You've got kind of a point. I think it was like a dream project for her. Like, the cinematographer herself was very into the movie.
Which, if that is true, that might be a good reason. But if she was just like, this is a paycheck, you say, oh, well, everyone wasted money on this. We're never touching it again. Because I was like, what if the shot is in the movie? Remember how for years there were rumors that like the take that killed Brandon Lee was in The Crow?
Yeah.
There's going to be rumors of that about this movie now, which, you know what the worst thing could be? What if this movie sucks? Which it could. It's a low budget Western.
If I had never heard of like any of the controversy about this, Rust is a movie, not only would I have never seen it, I would have never thought about it. There is a really high chance this movie drops, gets a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then years from now, some dude points to like the red box, the cover on the red box with his kid, and is like, let me tell you a story about this movie. You know? Like, this is probably gonna be nothing.
It's the ultimate, like, oh, I was looking at Alec Baldwin's IMDb. Did you guys know he was in a Western 10 years ago kind of movie? It's like big, like, again, it could be amazing. But again, I just question, like, if you have a tragedy like that, like The Crow, that was different. That was a big budget studio movie and they were almost done. You know? Yeah. And like Furious 7, Paul Walker didn't die on the set. You know, but with this, when it's a crew member that died.
So I get, it's a fork in the road. Is this going to be Twilight Zone the movie, or is this going to be The Crow? You know, like
I still think it's crazy they finished the Twilight Zone. That's still fucking crazy to me.
No, what's really crazy is fucking Eddie Murphy stuck up for Landis, like when nobody else would, and was like, please, give this guy a job again. And they make Coming to America, and Landis spends the whole set being horrible to Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy hated him so much at the end that he called him a pig in a public quote. Can you imagine? Someone in town, one last guy sticks up for you, and then for months after that, you're just like, hey, Eddie, fuck you, dipshit. God
idiot.
Damn.
Hey, Eddie, get in this helicopter.
Oh.
John Landis would be the kind of guy to do that, I feel like. I keep waiting for his shithead kid, Max, to, like, I keep expecting to, like, one day open the news and discover that Max Levinson is making, like, a helicopter pilot movie and just think, Just any day now he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Well, he makes stuff with his dad, which that's crazy. Yeah. His dad's alive. No, I'm not saying someone should have killed him. I'm saying he's old.
We have a story about somebody making stuff with their dad, don't we? Coming up soon.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that because our next news story, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes,
he said he was done, but he's fucking back. And it seems like he's doing it because his son, Ronan, is directing a picture.
Oh,
Ain't that sweet?
26 years old. He's also a painter. Can you imagine? Daniel Day-Lewis, because here's what's probably going to happen. He's going to come back for, like, this one movie. And then it's done. He had Phantom Thread to go out on. And now, some movie made by a 26-year-old about the relationship between sons and their fathers is gonna be, you know, the final note on the song that is his acting career. I don't see this going anywhere well. How about you? What's your estimation?
I'm 26. 26 years old. I don't see an
Yeah,
issue
but
with that.
Do you really think you're equipped to wield the weapon that is Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yes, I'm egotistical and narcissistic, so I think I can do it.
Tanner has announced he's making My Beautiful Laundrette 2.
No, I'm making a
Congratulations.
feature film adaptation of the Kanye West album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, starring Daniel Day-Lewis. It's not like a blackface thing. He's just playing Kanye, but he's just inexplicably a old white guy now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be about, how high he climbs. Something. Jesus. That would be interesting.
Man, Kanye West, what a guy. Go ahead.
I've only read a little bit about the plot of Daniel Day-Lewis's son's movie, and it just really does seem like it's about, like, bonding and stuff. This feels too deeply personal for me to be excited about it as a work of art,
Yeah, I don't know. Kinda. That's worth saying, but I do think it makes sense that, like, if you are a legendary actor and your son says, Dad, I want to be a director, and he's having trouble getting funding, you act in the movie, so any fucking studio would sign the check, right?
Dude, imagine trying to direct your dad. Imagine.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I've directed my mom, and that was kind of an awkward experience. You were there for that.
Hey, Dad, on that most recent line read, I wasn't really feeling it. Just imagine the look he's gonna give.
I gave birth to you! I drank your milkshake!
Yep, he's gonna stare at you like I remember back when you pissed the bed. What do you mean my line read wasn't perfect?
What if it's like about an abusive father and Daniel Day-Lewis was full method?
Dude, it's like The Act of Killing. It's a movie where Daniel Day-Lewis is an abusive dad, and it's the filmmaker working through all the abuse he suffered at the hands of Daniel Day-Lewis. Just imagine.
It's Honey Boy.
This would be... I want to see a Daniel Day-Lewis biopic where his son has all this trouble, because every few years, Daniel Day-Lewis works a completely different career. Like, suddenly he's an Abraham Lincoln impersonator, and it's like, Dad, you're never home, and it's like, yes, the nation never sleeps. And then the next thing you know,
needs to be saved!
He's making fucking, like, clothes and stuff, and it's like, Dad, you're never home, and he's like, yeah, I have a thing coming up soon. What do you call it when fashion people reveal?
No, it's still the same thing. It's the nation never rests. Except it's the rhythm nation. You know, the one Janet Jackson sang about?
My dad had many careers, but he never tried being a father.
That's kind of a baller ass line. No, I'm gonna steal that one. I'm stealing that one for later.
I really hope this is the movie. I'm gonna be disappointed if it's not.
I hope it's good. I hope it's great. You know what? I don't have a lot of confidence in being great, but I'll probably be there for it.
What?
The new Russo brothers picture. The Electric
them
State.
Russos. Oh.
Okay, so I watched this trailer right before we started streaming. Here's the thing. Are you familiar with the art series that this movie is based on?
No, but I've heard it's great.
It's great. You've probably seen it's basically all these like weird giant robots that are like in nature. It's really cool. It's really thought-provoking. This movie looks fucking nothing like that.
Really?
No. It doesn't even really have the aesthetic of the robots that greatly correct. It's kind of right, kind of not. I don't know. I'm going to say it. I don't think there's a lot of evidence that Millie Bobby Brown is good at acting.
I agree. We have no proof that she is like a proper actor. We have zero.
And the stuff I've heard about how apparently she finds movies boring. Like, did you hear about that? She finds watching movies boring. Fuck you. You got to be in a King Kong movie, and then I think you were also in a Godzilla movie. I can't remember if she was in that Godzilla versus Kong. Fuck you. Respect your elders, you piece of shit.
MBB is a trend where I will be excited when she's gone. Unless she has some kind of like Charlize Theron level transformation and does a movie like Monster, like really just steps out of her comfort zone and does something substantial. I am just convinced that this is like basically a kid just collecting steady checks from everybody who pays for Netflix to do the same thing over and over again.
And I'll say this, I think she's good in Stranger Things, the first 2 seasons. I still haven't seen season 3 or 4. I also think it's kind of a one-note character.
Yeah.
And she plays that one note really well. I have not been too impressed by her outside of that context.
Has she even tried? Like whenever I think of Millie Bobby Brown, I think like Enola Holmes. I think Damsel.
Okay, you know what? I like Enola Holmes. Okay, I like Enola Holmes, but I don't think that has anything to do with her. Speaking of Henry Cavill.
Yeah, you got me there. I like both of those.
Those are cute movies. I like them.
Yeah, me and my motherfucker, the Viscount of Tewkesbury. They're charming. But it's not like she's like, you know, a tour de force. She's not like, and Millie Bobby Brown's not even the only stale actor in this thing. She is co-starring with Chris Pratt,
who I do think is a good actor. He has given several good performances of different varieties. I think, listen, Passengers. The first like 20 minutes of that movie. Listen, it's not a very great movie, but the first 20 minutes where it's just Chris Pratt before Jennifer Lawrence wakes up, he's great. He is great in that segment. And he's great in the Guardians movies. He's great in the Lego movie. He's great in Parks and Rec. He's great in Moneyball.
He is great in Moneyball.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid it looks like he's playing his Jurassic World character, which is a boring sack of shit in this movie. He's playing that archetype he also plays, which is gruff military guy. Pratt's goofy. Let him be goofy.
Yep. It's a mode we've seen him switch to in movies like The Tomorrow War. And it never really brings that spark that you need for a leading man, you know?
I forgot about The Tomorrow War. I thought that was a TV show. No, Chris Pratt did star in an Amazon TV show, I think, though. Or no, was that the Russo brothers made one?
Speaking of the Russo brothers, they've been kind of hitting their head into the pavement ever since Endgame. They have not been on a hot streak.
Well, nobody liked Cherry. The Gray Man was... Well, nobody liked The Gray Man either. I thought it was okay.
It's a good treadmill movie.
Yeah. I think it has very uninspired drone cinematography. The worst thing that happened to The Gray Man is that it came out 2 months after Ambulance came out. When Ambulance showed you the pinnacle of what drones could do in an action movie. And then in The Gray Man, it's just drones are flying in the scene. And it's just like shaky cam. I can't tell what the fuck is happening.
I think they did an Amazon series called Citadel.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the way most people speak about Rings of Power, I have a small amount of respect for the Rings of Power because it does look like it cost, $250 million, $500 million. It looks really cool. Citadel cost $300 million. And let me tell you what, I had nothing else to watch. This was my thing. This was the hot new thing. There was no other stuff I could find. And I still stopped. It looks like shit. The writing is like, it's hostile towards you, like Joker 2. Like, it just keeps making moves where it's like, do you not want me to be entertained? Like, what the fuck, show? It is really bad. And I believe it lost Amazon a shitload of money. Because no one talks about it now.
Yeah, it seems like the Russos just keep consistently losing. Well, apparently The Gray Man did well. For whatever. I don't know how Netflix actually measures these things. It's a lot easier to figure out when it's box office.
It's crazy considering where they come from. Like, the paintball episodes of Community were done where they had barely any money in their masterpieces. Avengers Infinity War, a fucking balancing act that, like, most big-name directors couldn't pull off. But then the second that fucking, Thanos turned into fucking dust, It's like their talent turned to dust with him.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with these guys.
And, I'm intrigued to see them return to the Avengers. I'm confident that they can make an entertaining Marvel movie. But then again, Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom.
Everybody talks about how RDJ is the one, like, desperation Hail Mary tied to that project.
Bringing the Russos back is a desperation Hail Mary for both sides.
Yep, exactly.
They fucking need each other. It's a toxic relationship.
Oh, we can't talk about the Electric State without talking about the nostalgia trailer mix.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I was watching this and Austin was watching my reaction live as I slowly put together that the trailer music was fucking Champagne Supernova. Fuck you.
And
Fuck because
of the way Oasis is, how they're like, their few songs are really just Wonderwall. Tanner thought it was Wonderwall for a second.
I did confidently say, is that fucking Wonderwall? Then I went, no, it's not. That's a different one. It's Champagne. I like Oasis. It's funny. I like Oasis, and I keep making that mistake.
But they're going to do a movie one of these days where Wonderwall is the nostalgia trailer mix. You fucking know.
I mean, honestly, I feel like using any type of 90s Britpop is stupid for 90s. Like, just, you know what's going to happen one of these days, Austin? Are you ready for the day that you see a movie trailer for, like, I don't know, the new fucking Shang-Chi 2, and the nostalgia trailer song is fucking Song 2 by Blur. Are you ready for that? Woo! With, like, the echo at the end. Woo!
Yep. The haunting reverb fading into the epic shot. What if they did like one with "Smack My Bitch Up"? Like they tried to make it that level of
"Smack my bitch up, smack my bitch up," and then it's an Ant-Man movie. That's a deep cut joke. That's a deep cut joke for the comic loving audience.
Yep.
I can't explain it or else I might get canceled. Well. Maybe, that being said, I didn't hate the trailer. I actually thought it looked entertaining enough. It looked fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I liked a lot of the elements in the trailer. I don't think it's gonna be great, but I do want to watch it.
I think it'll be a acceptable watch. You know what? Like Wolves. Did you see Wolves? It was an acceptable watch.
Very acceptable.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about like 6 out of 10 ass movies where you go in knowing this is a reliable 6 out of 10.
You know what?
This is the man I call.
I'm going to be entertained. I might be a little bored in a little small part here or there, but for the most part, I'm going to watch this and be like, yeah, that's fine. I like that. George Clooney was there, you know?
You know it's probably going to be a reliable 7 out of 10 movie, though?
Ready or Not 2?
Yep.
But look at that. You're lobbing the jam.
The newest bit from Radio Silence, an outfit that I have been following ever since they did the final short in the first VHS movie. A group who I believe are extremely talented.
Oh, it's those people. Okay. Did they do the first
folks
one?
Who made Abigail. Yes. VHS ends with like I think a New Year's Eve short in a kind of haunted house. And it is very good. And it's by Radio Silence. The kind of VFX work they did at the time was pretty standout on that budget.
Yeah,
and they also Scream.
So it's the Scream 5 people / I guess Scream 6 people.
They help revive Scream.
They did do Scream 6. Okay, doesn't look like they're doing Scream stuff.
Yeah, they had certain opinions about Israel that just don't belong in a Scream movie.
They're doing a sequel to Escape from New York?
Oh.
Sure, why not? But yeah, the fact that
they film it here again. I hope they film it here.
I don't think we look shitty enough. Well, they could go on the other side of Del Mar.
Yeah, there's still space.
There's a lot of dilapidated St. Louis, I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever tell you about the time I saw a guy I was in a car on that side of St. Louis, and we were waiting at an intersection. I look out the window, and some guys were like, and he had his hand out like this. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And then I saw a guy do a line of coke off his hand.
I like the idea that he was doing it off his sleeve. Like, he had fun little hills of cocaine going up a Winnie the Pooh sweater. It was just like, let's go.
Listen, if drugs are your thing, I don't judge. But drugs are bad. Drink responsibly. I really got you, huh, Austin?
Yeah, I love that. That is the kind of messaging we need. I love that.
Please don't do drugs unless they're legal. I think I have to say that for Twitch reasons. I think I've already pushed the boundaries of what I'm allowed to say on Twitch a lot this episode. I have a confession to make, Austin. I still haven't seen Ready or Not. I still haven't.
It's good.
I bet I'd love it. It seems like it's up my alley.
Yeah, it's like in the same camp as You're Next. It's a fun, smart horror movie.
When the trailers were coming out, I thought, I'm bad with horror trailers. I was every time I saw the trailer for Hereditary, I was like, this is a piece of shit. So that shows what I know.
No, that happens sometimes. Sometimes everyone around you is freaking out about a trailer, and you see right through it. You know, you're just like, nah, this is gonna be ass.
Except in the case of Hereditary, I was way off the mark with that one. And then I finally saw it 2 years later, and I was like, oh, this is a masterpiece. Midsummer is bad, though.
Midsummer is bad. I haven't even watched the director's cut. I'm the only one brave
enough to say that. And Beau is Afraid was okay. But Hereditary, I'll see fucking anything Ari Aster makes on the hopes that it's as good as Hereditary again.
Yeah. Ready or Not was a good time. I'm also excited to see Samara Weaving and stuff, because it felt for a while there like her star was just steadily rising, and the next thing I know, she's like a bit character in Babylon, who's being made fun of for being like a lesser Margot Robbie, and it's like...
She was the opening kill in Scream 6.
That
was fun. That was fun.
Where are her leading roles at? You know? She's Hugo Weaving's niece or something.
Really?
Yeah, she's related to Hugo Weaving.
It's always nepotism. But you know who didn't get in the industry through nepotism?
Jack Nicholson's son, who appears in Smile 2.
You know what the funny thing is? I saw a tweet where someone posted the photo of him smiling in Smile 2, and someone said he couldn't deny it was his even if he wanted to. And someone replied with, and boy, did he want to.
Jack Nicholson
for a long time tried to claim that child was not his.
He was just hanging out with Clint Eastwood one day and was like, you don't say. We can do that? Wow! I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, except failed because, again, that is his father's son right there. Spike Lee, though. Because, you know, Spike Lee just wrapped on his latest film. It's a English language reinterpretation of Akira Kurosawa's High and Low, starring Denzel Washington and Jeffrey Wright, set for spring 2025 release. My thoughts on this are, you know, it went really great the last time we let Spike Lee remake an Asian language movie. Surely it'll go just as well as the last time, right?
Father!
But also,
Christ.
I think Spike Lee's on a hot streak right now, so maybe?
Wait, that's a good point, because he did Black Klansman. He did The Five Bloods. That was good.
And he just did something else that was fucking awesome, I thought. I just can't remember. I'm gonna look it up. Oh, has he not made a movie since The Five Bloods?
Still, he's kind of got the sauce back. A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, The Five Bloods and Black Klansman back to back is fucking crazy.
He's not quite at his Malcolm X power level, but, you know, he's making good to great movies again, and that's, you know, a big deal after something like Oldboy. The problem is, from what I can tell, take my film degree away. I haven't seen High and Low. I have seen. There's a lot of Kurosawa movies I just haven't seen.
I've seen the big ones for Kurosawa, but the deeper cuts from him, I'm disgustingly blind on.
We need Spike Lee to do a remake of Dodis Kaden, or else no other movies, just that one. I've heard that High and Low is one of those movies like Ikaru, where it's like, don't touch that. Don't fucking remake that. And also, I was reading the article that you sent me. It looks like they changed it so, like, Denzel Washington's character in this is a record executive, which doesn't seem to be a comparable analog to the job the main character had in the original movie. I think he was like a shoe salesman or something
that's a
like
lot
that.
different. I don't know. I think it's interesting they used the word reinterpretation. I wonder if they don't want to say remake because of what happened with Old Boy.
Oh, it's like a bit of Wonka's Not a Musical marketing.
Well, there was fucking something out there. What was the big thing for a while? It was reimagining. Like, because remember, they didn't want to say remake anymore, so they started saying reboot. Which, to be fair, remake and reboot are different concepts.
Yeah.
And then it became, it's a reimagining. Remember that was a thing for a while. It's a reimagining. Is this the new one, a reinterpretation? Quit pussyfooting around it. It's a fucking remake.
Oh, God. I'm making a reinterpretation of Citizen Kane. It's called Succession on
It's called
whatever.
Mank.
I love reinterpretation because it could just be like have a completely different moral than it means something wildly different than the original one if you call it a reinterpretation.
Well, in the original, the high won, but in this movie, the low wins. I don't know if that's true.
I'm doing a reinterpretation of the Shawshank Redemption. It's called Joker Folie à Dieu.
You know, I'm doing a reinterpretation of the shit I just took. It's a 5-star meal.
God damn. As someone who hasn't seen the original, and Spike Lee has kind of varying quality levels, I genuinely, can't get a read on what to expect for this
is
one.
this gonna be Old Boy? Or... I don't know, I like Chirac. Whatever he made before Old Boy, maybe. Is it gonna be like that level? Are we gonna get... what's the fucking movie he did with Anthony... fucking Sam Wilson, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Anthony Mackie. The movie where he he wants to fuck a bunch of white women or something. I can't remember the plot of that movie.
Huh. I've never seen or heard of this.
I think it's a Spike Lee movie. Maybe I'm tripping. Hold on. To the IMDb. Oh yeah, She Hate Me. Is it just gonna be like She Hate Me again? Yeah, here we go. Fired from his job for exposing corrupt business practices, a former biotech executive turns to impregnating wealthy lesbians for profit. This is a Spike Lee movie starring Anthony Mackie.
That rules. That premise rules. I'm all about this.
Yeah, Monica Bellucci's in it. Kerry Washington's in it. Woody Harrelson's in it. John Turturro, Q-Tip. Jason Secord saying that sounds awful. Well, when it comes to Spike Lee, sometimes the movie sounds awful and you watch it and you go, that's fucking amazing. I would not have expected 5 black Vietnam vets go back to Vietnam to find the buried treasure they left there. Listen, on its face, that sounds offensive. That sounds like that could very easily be offensive. And some may argue that the Five Bloods was a little bit offensive to the Vietnamese people. I don't think it was unforgivably so, but instead it's an amazing movie about Delroy Lindo just fucking losing it. But then sometimes it's She Hate Me, where the premise is what the fuck is that? And then you watch it and you go, oh, yeah, She Hate Me is what he followed 25th Hour with. That's what he followed 25th Hour. That's the movie he made between 25th Hour and Inside Man, was She Hate Me.
What?
So... Spike Lee, everybody.
It's like if you're on the highway and you just turn right for like count to 10, and then you turn left and go back on the highway.
Like,
that's fucking crazy.
Like, Spike Lee is one of the most important directors to ever lived. He has made several masterpieces. He also made She Hate Me. So, he also made English language Old Boy.
Well, he's not nearly as reliable as the creatives behind the next movie.
Yeah, Aardman Studios. Aardman Studios, they're known for like Shaun the Sheep. They're known for Flushed Away. But the big thing for me, what Aardman's Chicken Run. Chicken Run is a great one. Everyone loves Chicken Run. I still haven't seen Chicken Run 2. Apparently it's good. But
yeah.
One of my all-time favorite animated movies, probably in my top 10 favorite animated movies of all time, is Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. And we are finally getting another Wallace and Gromit feature film from Aardman. We got the teaser for it this week. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. 54-second teaser. Like, it's fucking short. And that's 54 seconds, including the Netflix logo at the end. So, there's barely anything. It's going to come out January 3rd. Dude. How hyped are we for this? I'm hyped. Are you hyped?
I'm hyped. Also, you said Altman instead of Aardman, and I just thought of Robert Altman directing a Wallace and Gromit movie. They're just constantly talking over each other. Fucking crazy zoom-ins. There's prostitutes now.
Nashville. It's Nashville, but Wallace is there. Oh, heavens.
I've set up in town to be a cheese vendor. It's McCabe and Mrs. Miller, but instead of hookers, it's cheese. He just becomes the main cheese guy.
Yeah.
So this movie has, like, I remember the story from a while ago. This has a weird, like, bit of finality to it because they're running out of clay.
Yeah. Okay. So I have also read that apparently that story was misleading about Aardman running out of clay. I think it's they might need to switch to a new manufacturer, which might affect the texture of these movies. I've also read that them running out of that type of clay in the first place is just misleading. I don't know what to believe. I do think that Aardman's trying to market and signal an end of an era with this Wallace and Gromit movie. What that means, I don't know.
It's tragic when hearing Quentin Tarantino say he wants to retire after a 10th film. It's really tragic hearing Aardman say, we're out of the physical materials that are needed to make this. It's a good story.
About Tarantino, though. Bullshit. He'll make his 10th movie, and then after 5 years, he'll get the itch, and he'll make an 11th movie. I guarantee it. Also, if you ask me, fuck you, Kill Bill Part 1 and Kill Bill Part 2, that is 2 different movies. Fuck you. Shut up.
Yeah, that second point is completely fair. I think every time Spielberg or Scorsese release a movie that's kind of lackluster, it just solidifies Tarantino's thing where he wants to retire after.
But when was the last time one of them did that? Okay, well, Ridley Scott,
fucking Scott is the reason he probably sticks to that 10 movie thing.
Well, Ridley Scott, I don't think was ever in the same ballpark as Spielberg and Scorsese, even if his last name starts with an S.
Yeah, it's like if Tony Scott accidentally made like a Minority Report or something.
Do not disrespect Tony Scott in this household.
That's fair. I will disrespect the Penguin though. Not the HBO show, but the fucking Penguin from this trailer. You think he's behind it all? The frame-up job?
Well, yes, because it's called Vengeance Most Foul because it's a play on chicken, and he pretends to be a chicken.
I hope they do some Aardman Extended Universe stuff. I hope the Chicken Run chickens show up in this,
I hope the rats from Flushed Away are in this. I hope Hugh Jackman is in this.
After an all is lost moment in the second act, you just hear the toilet flush, and he's like, Gromit, what's that? And then the Flushed Away rats come up, and they're
they
like...
fucking burst out of the toilet! We're here to help.
We heard someone framed you for murder.
We're here to help. That'd be fucking awesome. And you know what else is probably going to be fucking awesome?
What?
Edgar Wright's next movie, which is a Running Man remake starring Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, and Lee Pace, set for fall of next year. We're getting this movie in like a year.
Yep.
Dude.
More Edgar Wright. Yes. Oh,
I'm into this. And also, more Glenn Powell. Did you see Hitman? You need to watch Hitman.
I saw Hitman the day it came out. It's so good.
You need to watch it again. You need to go right after this is done. Get on the treadmill and watch Hitman.
He does a Patrick Bateman impression. My heart soared.
Which, side note, we didn't put it on this thing because that kind of broke late and I don't really think I have much to say. But the Lucas Giudicino American Psycho remake, Glenn Powell would be a good pick.
Yeah, it is interesting because this makes it really explicitly clear. For years, it's like, who could even fill Arnold's shoes a little? Who is our generation's Schwarzenegger? And it's a little early to call it, but I think Glenn Powell works.
Well,
I think he's got the magnetism.
He's funny, and he's a great action star. That's the thing. Schwarzenegger wasn't just a great action star. Schwarzenegger has incredible, like, actual generation comedic actor level of comedic timing.
Yep.
He just knows when to say a funny thing.
Yep. He can pull off one-liners. He's got that animal level attraction that was more popular in the 80s for guys to look crazy like that. Glenn Powell fits in with the modern day stuff, you know?
Yeah.
He looks like a Marvel superhero, you know? He's got that crazy body.
He can do punchlines and he can do one-liners. Like, what were you about to ask me?
Have you seen the original Running Man, Tanner?
It's been a while, but yeah, it's good. It's maybe great even. I wouldn't rank it amongst like the Schwarzenegger heavy hitters like Terminator or Predator or Conan.
Raw Deal?
In my opinion,
Deal?
True Lies. I think True Lies is great, but it's good. I like Running Man a lot. I think Edgar Wright doing Running Man has a lot of potential.
I liked Running Man because of its social commentary. Like, I thought for a movie from the 80s, it was very prescient about just kind of like corporate media and all that stuff. I was surprised how good the commentary was in the film. And so I'm excited because I believe politically we've evolved with what Americans will show on films. Even though Edgar Wright is English, he's making Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that dimension of it. That may have a little bit of a damper put on it. Apparently, this is more like a more faithful. So get this, it's based off a Stephen King book. I had no idea.
Running Man, Stephen King?
Yeah, he wrote it under a pseudonym.
He did that with a lot of books.
Isn't that crazy? Watching the movie, the last thing I thought was, you know, the guy who did The Shining did this.
I did not know that. Well, it's kind of like finding out Shawshank is Stephen King. You kind of go, oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You just don't expect that. Stephen King has more range than I think the average person gives him credit for.
I think another exciting thing about The Running Man, besides the fact it's more Edgar Wright, that is so exciting, is that Josh Brolin has been cast to be, most likely, the TV executive, the main bad guy.
That's
the guy
what I've
who
heard.
gets up on stage.
He's playing the executive and Lee Pace is playing one of the bounty hunters, is what I've heard.
So anyone who hasn't seen The Running Man, imagine that weird host guy from The Hunger Games, but played by fucking Thanos. It's real nice. And what's interesting, or at least what I believe, they're not just gonna make him gruff, you know, fucking scary, Sicario Josh Brolin. That character has a lot of, like, I've been in TV for 60 years, razzmatazz about him. And I'm excited to see Josh Brolin play a character who's evil, but not so gruff. It'll be a little diversion from the usual.
And Brolin's been in the game for 40 years, so he has that experience. I just saw Goonies again for the first time a couple weekends ago. God, he's so young in that. It's crazy seeing him play like a kid.
That kid would grow up to kill half the universe.
And, yeah. Well, I'm excited for this. I think yeah, I Edgar Wright's awesome. Glenn Powell's awesome. This is all awesome. You know who else is awesome?
You.
No, we're not there yet. Sydney
Who?
Sweeney. Hey, I can't.
She's working on it.
Say what I want to say because it's inappropriate. But Sydney Sweeney was great in Anyone But You. We have the first set images from her Christy Martin biopic starring Sydney Sweeney. And first off, she's got the muscles. She's playing a boxer, wrestler. I forget who Christy Martin is. She looks different. She looks different.
Yeah. And kind of true to the real life boxer. I looked at
That's
photos
it.
of them
I'm
side by
Googling
side.
Christy Martin. Fine. I will do more than just reading the articles as research. Shit. Yeah, boxer, and wow. Wow, that is actually kind of spot on. That's fucking insane.
Yeah. God, I can't say what I want to say either. Save for like one aspect of Sydney Sweeney's body, she looks a lot like that person.
Which, in these photos, they seem to be hiding. I wonder if she's wearing a binder.
I can't imagine having to do a really physical role while wearing a binder. I've never worn one before, but from what I can tell, it restricts your breathing, or from what I've heard at least.
Yeah, I don't know. They might just be... It looks like she's wearing a binder under that shirt in the photo.
Sure.
I don't know. They could just be hiding it really well. I don't know.
I don't know that much about this person's story. It's weird, like, seeing a biopic coming up that's probably going to get a decent amount of attention. And I don't know if this person's story is quite as compelling as, like, say, the Iron Claw. I'd never heard of those wrestlers before the Iron Claw came out, but that's an elevator pitch you can rope anyone in with, you know?
Christy Martin is the woman that proved that women belonged in boxing.
Yeah, wasn't she inducted in, like, the Boxing Hall of Fame or something?
She was the
like,
first
2020?
woman ever inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in 2020. And the only reason it took that long is because that's when they started allowing women on the ballot.
I remembered the other dramatic aspect of her life. She was almost murdered by her husband. I'd forgotten about this. She was, like, shot, stabbed, poisoned, drowned, all because she wanted to, like, influence the Tsar of Russia and his kid. Can you fucking believe that? But she didn't die. She got horribly wounded by her husband. And that's just a weird idea going into a sports movie, is knowing there's going to be, like, a lot of, like, normal inspirational sports stuff. And then there's going to be a scene that's like a horror movie where she gets stabbed several times and shot. It's like, going to be weird going into the movie, you know?
Yeah. Christy Martin is an important athletic figure, and I think that's interesting because sports biopics are, normally a more inspirational thing. But between the Iron Claw and this, and honestly, what I'm hearing about the Benny Safdie Dwayne Johnson movie, are we entering like a darker? And I think it's worth. These are all ring sports. These are all quote unquote fighting sports, wrestling, boxing, MMA. These are combat sports. And, I mean, are there a ton of combat sports biopics? I guess Raging Bull is technically one. Combat sports are usually a bit darker.
Yeah. God, Gaspar Noé is going to end up making a Chris Benoit movie. And he's going to get kicked out of Cannes for saying
I don't think we can make a Chris Benoit movie. I'm going to be real. I do not think we should ever make a Chris Benoit movie. That's
why Gaspar Noé has to do it. It's for him. He's gonna get kicked out of Cannes for making this movie.
It's funny. Have you heard the weird conspiracy theory with Chris Benoit?
What's it called? Havana syndrome?
No. He had CTE. That's obvious. The WWE's covering that up. He probably had the most severe CTE we've ever seen in a major athlete. That's not the point of this story. No, the point of this story is that the Wikipedia page for Chris Benoit was updated to reflect his death before the police announced he was dead.
Oh, yeah.
And The IP address that made that edit tied to WWE headquarters.
Specifically, Vince McMahon's office. They found the physical address of the computer that made that update. It's Mr. McMahon himself.
I don't think that's true, but it is like somehow the WWE found out before Benoit's extended family did.
Ooh.
Which I mean, I can't say immediate family given. I don't think I could say what he did. I don't think I'm allowed to say what he did by Twitch standards. Wikipedia, kids, it'll tell you.
Early on in this conversation, you said Sydney Sweeney's a good actor, and I went like this. That feels a little unfair, because it does feel like if somebody in like 2003 was like, Charlize Theron, kind of whatever, just waiting on her to prove herself. Like, this is probably going to be the movie. If there's going to be a movie soon where Sydney Sweeney actually gets to like act the shit out of something besides Euphoria, this is going to be it. So I will like delay calling Sydney Sweeney someone unproven, knowing that it's like, you know, loaded in the chamber about to come at me.
This could be the one. And you know what else is loaded in the chamber?
Barbarella.
Yes. But there's a Bob Dylan movie coming out with Timothy Chalamet. We got a new trailer for it. Austin, I'm going to say it. I'm excited. I think this looks great.
Me too. Me too, dude. Let's see it together at the Dolby Cinema. Fucking...
Yeah, if you and your husband can give me a ride, I will go to the Dolby Cinema.
Dude, when that first trailer dropped, I was skeptical, just like everybody else. It's like a Bob Dylan movie. Fuck. But his rendition of fucking that song sounds so much like Dylan, but you can tell it's his voice, because there's certain parts where he excels at singing. Because Chalamet is a stronger talent, like, with singing than Dylan
Chalamet is a better singer than Dylan. Like, you know, that reminds me, when the Bob Dylan movie was announced and everyone was like, Timothy Chalamet, I don't know if he can sing. And I went, guys, he's playing Bob Dylan. He doesn't have to. I say that as someone who thinks Bob Dylan is one of the most important musicians to ever live. Mm-hmm. His singing is not exactly what he was known for.
It's so weird that the Call Me By Your Name kid was either hiding the whole time that he's a great singer, or crazier, took some vocal lessons and is just naturally fucking great at it.
Yeah, he was great in Wonka. His voice was like so good. I really dug Wonka, and I think this is going to be great. I trust James Mangold. I liked his Indiana Jones movie, unlike a lot of other people.
You did.
Ford v Ferrari was great. Logan was great.
Yeah.
I have the hiccup, sorry.
It's because you said you like Dial of Destiny. Now you have Heartburn of Death.
It's funny you say that, because I just now noticed that I do have heartburn. What the fuck?
You got
I'm not kidding. I don't have Pepto. I have ibuprofen.
Oh,
I don't keep enough medical. Remember how I stabbed my finger a couple weeks ago? Yeah, I wrapped a paper towel around it. I don't have any Band-Aids.
Ooh, hell. Okay, I'll bring you a bottle of Pepto tomorrow, you poor soul.
I'm very bad at being an adult. I am very much a single man in his mid-20s.
You are very much Colin Firth in A Single Man.
Yeah. But no, Complete Unknown looks great. I think this new trailer, I was like, the teaser, I was like, this looks good, I guess. This trailer, I was like, I fucking get it. This is going to be awesome.
It was an interesting switch up. The teaser was mostly just to convince you that, one, it's going to have that kind of classic nostalgia, James Mangold, like, look that things like Ford v Ferrari had. You know, it's getting your dad hooked. But mostly, it's to show you that Timothy Chalamet can do an impression of Bob Dylan while he's singing. But this teaser, this trailer, like the full thing, it shows you he's going to hook up with Joan Baez. They're going to cover his transition using the electric guitar. They wanted to throw some, like, the actual plot points at you, so you could just be like, all right, I'm into it. And a couple of, like, the kind of short dialogue scenes that give you an idea of how they're going to play Dylan's character. And I think all of it adds up to be like a winning combination. I'm so excited for this film.
Yeah. I think it looks great. I think it looks awesome. I'm so into it. It's gonna be great. Dude, you and I, Dolby Cinema, I'm in. You drive.
Yeah, hopefully, probably what's going to happen is, because they only play one movie a week in our Dolby Cinema, so, like, it's not like over in Illinois across the bridge where they'll play, like, they'll alternate. Around that time, if I had to take a guess, it's going to be Kraven the Hunter playing
Or
in the
Sonic
Dolby Cinema.
2.
Or, Wicked? Wicked, maybe?
Wicked is like more Thanksgiving. Something else will not.
Got it.
Something out is coming out the same day as Sonic 2. I can't remember what.
Wait a second. Holy shit, Wicked and Gladiator 2 are coming out on the same day. That means the local Dolby Cinema at AMC is going to have to pick which one
They're
want
gonna pick
programmed.
Wicked. They're gonna pick Wicked. I'm sorry you have to find out this way.
I still think one of the folks, like the general manager for this region, is going to shoot himself over that.
I'm sorry. I just Googled December 20th, 2024 movie, and it said movies playing. Eyes Wide Shut. No.
I would immediately go see Eyes Wide Shut in a theater.
Motherfucker. You know what else is coming out that same day as Sonic 3 that is, I guarantee you're going to get the Dolby screen, my guy?
What?
Mufasa, the Lion King.
Fuck! No!
Sorry you had to find out this way, brother.
Wait, we were talking about this at work. That looks like a parody of a movie that you would see in a real movie. Like a movie they're watching on the screen inside the movie that makes fun of bad movies.
You know what it fucking feels like? It feels like a Family Guy cutaway gag, and not one of the good ones.
Yep. In a world where Mufasa was actually a random orphan who became king.
That's fucking insane. Why would you make Scar kind of justified in being pissed off?
Yeah! Yeah, it's a wild decision. It's a baffling choice.
The only thing is, well, fuck, Barry Jenkins is directing it. By God, it can't be that bad, can it?
Do you think they made him not come from, like, regal royal blood because they wanted to go against that critique that The Lion King is about, like, how, you know, like, hierarchies of families and shit, you know, like defending monarchies and all that shit, saying, like, the natural order is that there's a great man from a great family and he's supposed to rule. Like, I've heard people complain about that. Do you think that influenced this decision?
Disney does not give a shit about insane people on the internet that say that about The Lion King. Who fucking said that? Remember that fucking communist black woman that was like in the Reform Party that was like, yeah, Pat Buchanan for president. That lady said that and nobody else.
Huh.
The black woman communist that said, yes, Pat Buchanan should be president is the person that's saying The Lion King promotes traditional family values in great man theory. That's who's. What the fuck are you talking? What?
That's fair. That's fair.
All right,
Still
well,
baffling though.
We have run through our topics. So this is the segment of the show where I ask if chat has anything they want us to talk about. Thankfully, it's really just Jason Secord talking tonight because this has already been the longest episode of Jump Cuts ever. So, chat, we take it to you. Anything you want to hear either me or Austin talk about? Not all at once now. You see, I feel like I have to keep talking because I don't edit this when I put it on YouTube.
I mean, honestly, it's cool. We've talked a lot. We've gone in a lot of different places.
Well, Jason Secord wants to hear us talk about it. He brought it up. I brought it up briefly. The Giudicino American Psycho. He says remake. The press release is being very clear that it's just another adaptation of the book.
Okay.
Here's what I think about American Psycho being made again. I think that the original Suspiria is a perfect movie, and why would anyone be insane enough to remake it? And then Giudicino did a pretty fucking excellent job with a new Suspiria interpretation. So,
okay, for a second, I was wondering, who is this Giudicino? Are you talking about Luca Guadagnino?
I don't know how to say people's names, Austin. Leave me alone.
I just thought it was like some like up and coming art director I'd never heard of. Okay,
No.
Luca Guadagnino making American Psycho. What immediately like stirs in my mind is I think what Mary Herron did was made about as extreme of a version of American Psycho as you could in the early 2000s, but it's still very palatable, even for like all of its extremity and needing an unrated cut and all this. One big difference in the book, it is fucked up. It is horribly fucked up. There is a lot of crazy shit that happens in the book you could never show on screen. And I just wonder if that's like an angle they're going to take of it. Because it's hard to imagine Luca Guadagnino making a less fucked up version of American Psycho than the Mary Herron version. And obviously he's not going to want to retread the same ground because he's not going to get Christian Bale again. So what's he going to do to make this stand out from the old one? The most obvious route would be putting some of that fucked up shit back in there, I guess. A lot of cannibalism.
Could do that.
Or
I don't think I've seen American Psycho.
did you say you haven't seen American Psycho?
I don't think I've seen it. I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of clips from it.
Tanner, on the German DVD, they released an open matte version of American Psycho with this much more picture. Tanner, I've got to get you the German open matte version of American Psycho. You're gonna fucking love it. There's so much more picture, Tanner.
I'm being
beautiful.
judged. I'm being judged in the chat. Listen, I have blind spots. I have very obvious blind spots that you'd be shocked by. I went to film school. The fuck you mean I haven't seen American Psycho? I don't know. I never got around to it.
Have you ever hit me with a, do you like Huey Lewis in the News? I feel like you have.
Well, I probably have, but I was probably saying that genuinely, because I like Huey Lewis in the News.
It's hip to be square.
It's hip to be square. Listen, have you listened to Power of Love? One of the best, like, power pop ballads of the 80s. It's fucking incredible.
You're right. Frankie Goes to Hollywood kicks ass. All of Us
Relax,
Strangers, now out on VOD.
That's a crazy one-hit wonder. Because, like, all I know about that song is he goes, relax. Like, does that even have a verse? I don't know. American Psycho has gay subtext. Well, I know American Psycho was written by a gay man. So, I'd imagine DiGiorno's could lean into the gay subtext more, as Jason Secord saying. I think that's possible. I think he is a very queer director.
Just literally just premiered a film
Queer.
called Queer.
Which apparently is like about Daniel Craig being like a shithead older gay. Hell yeah.
I heard it's polarizing. I've only heard Adam Johnston's review of it, and he said that this is like definitely like not gonna be for certain people, which will be kind of a disruption after something very like accessible like Challenge.
That was like maybe his most mainstream film ever, Challengers, which is great, because I'm so glad a bazillion people in America went to theaters and saw a guy just smack the shit out of Mike Face's boner. It's so funny. That shot is so funny. You've seen Challengers, right?
Yeah, I saw it at the Dolby.
When he just goes, it's so, oh shit. The sound of that movie's insane. Are you sure you didn't have a heart attack watching it in Dolby Cinema?
No, dude, it grooves, okay? When I found out this was going to be like a sports drama, but with rave music, I was like, why hasn't somebody done this before? This rocks. Holy shit.
God, Challengers, still one of the best of the year. Fuck me. That's in my top 10 of the year right now.
I will admit, and Tanner, you haven't seen the movie, but there's a scene where Patrick Bateman finds out that a guy is gay, and he goes to kill him in the men's bathroom, and he like puts on gloves, and he tries to almost, but doesn't end up doing it. He doesn't actually make contact with this gay man, and then he goes to the sink and still washes off the gloves as if they were his hands. And I did not know for the longest time that was about AIDS. I had to hear it on like somebody's commentary to be like, oh, that's what that is. He's not
American
just being
Psycho
quirky.
takes place in the 80s, right?
Yep.
I will say that I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Relax.
say something.
Go do it.
Relax. Go do it.
Hey, have you seen Body Double, the Brian De Palma film?
De Palma, listen. I watch the De Palma movies that people insist are worth watching because De Palma made a lot of garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. But that song, that specific Frankie Goes to Hollywood song, there's a whole musical number in the middle of Body Double featuring a bunch of like porn workers to that song. It's pretty great.
Hell yeah.
You'd never see it coming.
I don't know. I'll watch American Psycho. Oh, I remember now. The big thing right now is I have not seen American Psycho. From what I do understand about American Psycho, though, it's the main character is supposed to be the embodiment of 80s businessman psycho, like that specific, like the ideal American look, almost.
Yup. Yuppie materialism. Like American Gigolo times 50.
Which is why when I saw on Twitter when someone said, who do you want to see be cast as the lead? And I saw a lot of people go like Charles Melton, who is a person of color, or gender swap it, cast Mikey Madison. I am of the opinion that 99% of the time it is okay to race swap a white character because in most cases, them being white is immaterial to the character. From what I understand about American Psycho, this is actually one of those few cases where them being white is material to the character.
Yes. He is able to slide by and behave the way he does because he is white. It would be so nuts to race swap or gender swap Patrick Bateman. He just wants to fit in. He gets away with killing people because he has to return some videotapes because he's white. Do not fuck that up.
Yeah. It seemed like a lot of people just think, oh, the guy in American Psycho is supposed to be hot. Which, yes, but
honestly, he's also an evil demon who kills people in plain sight because he's a fucking white businessman.
Yeah. So for that reason, I think they should cast Jared Leto.
Oh, that would be great. Oh my god. What's that on the floor? You got a little chow or something? That would be really funny. They take the guy who gets axe murdered in the first movie and makes him Bateman in the new one. But
you know who actually could be Bateman? Maybe Chalamet? If he bulked up, maybe?
No, I can't imagine.
Is he too kind of gay looking? Oh, okay, well.
Even if you gave him the shitty coiffed haircut like a businessman has, he just can't get that jacked.
I guess, you know what? Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell, like I said earlier.
Yeah, he already had his audition in the Richard Linklater movie. Yeah.
He could do it.
Work.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like there's not a better... Because he needs to be in his like late 20s, early 30s, I think, whoever Bateman is. He can't be old. Though you might be able to get away with just casting Christian Bale again.
Yeah. I mean, he'd bulk up for it. And then the next film after American Psycho remake, he'd be 400 pounds. It would be The Whale.
I think I read that he's done like doing the extreme body transformation. Because I think when he like fattened up for Vice, and then they showed him the fat suit they had prepared, he was like, wait, I could have done that this whole time.
I think there was a moment like that on The Boys where a new cast member was coming in and like Anthony Starr took him aside like early on and was like, please don't kill yourself working out for this. You're wearing a suit. They can build the muscles into the suit. Please just focus on like acting, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Starr, though in Homelander's case, I think it's intentional that there are muscles built into the suit and he actually is a little flabby looking. I think that's intentional. But for the most part, yeah, just like, you don't need to kill yourself over it.
Yeah. If you don't have a shirtless scene, don't go nuts and, go keto for 6 months, doing the fucking galactic Liver King workout or whatever. You will be fine.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's it for this episode of Jump Cuts. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching live on Twitch, if you're watching this Monday morning when it gets uploaded to YouTube, thank you for starting your day with us. We really appreciate it. If you're listening to this, go ahead, leave a review, boost us in the algorithm. Mosey on down over to our Patreon. The $5 tier gets you access to commentary tracks. We're recording one tomorrow night. And the $10 tier gets you a shout out. So, Mr. Jason Secord, you've been in the chat all night. We appreciate the money you give us. And Tanya Kraft, my mom, I don't even think she remembers signing up for the $10 tier, but I still appreciate it. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. What did you think of Daniel Day-Lewis returning? What did you think of any of the trailers we talked about? Do you think the Henry Cavill Voltron, he should just be Voltron? Comment below and let me know. While you're down there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in a couple weeks near the start of November for the next episode of Jump Cuts. It's going to be a lot of fun. See you then. Bye.
Sayonara.
I slid my ticket across the table and I said, "Sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl."